can go up and help them get back up. Again, notice he's healing that ranger pet. He used his water. Now he switched to fire to do a little bit more damage. You can see the ranger pet die. Actually, is there a drink recovery going on down there over the road? Why don't you go take a look?
Save my hay! You can help. Thank you. My cow's
Okay.
Everyone needs beef.
So, the players have succeeded in driving the bandits off. You'll see Matthew got credit for that. So one thing to note, we want all of our events in the game to have consequences. So you noticed before the fact that the players didn't, oh and look, so while we were away, it looks like somebody actually purged the water supply of the poison and the water's gone back to normal. So now you see those toxic grubs that were in the fields are gone now and there are worm hatchlings there instead. So this is a good example of how the dynamic event system changes the world. This particular event also, if the players hadn't succeeded in driving the bandits off, then the farmer wouldn't be able to feed his cows, and you'll see the local merchants wouldn't have things like milk and cheese and things like that that depend on the farmer supplying him with cows. So actually, we're going to continue on with our personal story here. We'll go into the city of Divinity's Reach, which you can see there. So again, the green starburst indicates that we should go there to follow our personal story. We're going to go to Divinity's Reach, which is the capital of the humans. Each of the races has their own capital city. And one of the things that we've sort of learned from making Guild Wars 1 and through observation of other MMOs is that these big cities are treated by players as sort of social hubs. So these are places where players like to go and chat with each other, you know, dance around, kind of just have fun and relax from the regular rigors of the game. And so what we've done is we've tried to make our cities places that really support that behavior. And we do that through the use of, A, we want our cities to feel really alive.
Good evening, little lady. I've traveled very far to get here. It's very dirty, isn't it? Dirty? The filth, the crime, the danger. It's nothing like the road.
So, we want the cities to have a lot of life. We want lots of little NPCs to interact with, just kind of fun things to do. We want the city to be a place where players feel like it's a cool place to hang out. And so we go out of our way to make our cities feel alive and to make our cities kind of really beautiful places where players can feel like, you know, the place they want to go and spend some of their off hours. Another thing that we do is we scatter what we call activities around the city. We'll walk by one of them here. We won't have time to play it in the demo. This is a shooting gallery. This is kind of a mini game where a player of any level can come and compete with other players to get a high score. So player is level 3, player is level 70, anybody can come along and participate in this. And again, this is something that's outside of the normal flow of the game. This is something that's for players to want to relax and kind of get away from the usual gameplay. There are a lot of activities scattered around the city. In Divinity's Reach, for example, there's a giant mechanical band that people can play different tunes in. There are also is a bar that's kind of got a perpetual bar brawl going on, so you can go in there and rake chairs over each other's heads and things like that. We're going to go into the upper city now. This is where the Queen's Palace is, the Ministry, which is the ruling body of the city. And we wanted to come here first. Let's take a look at our map and get an idea for the size of the city. So you can see this is the route that we took here. And this entire thing is all one giant instant city. with the exception of this little section right here, which you can see is marked as home. This is your home district, and what your home district is, it's kind of your home neighborhood, it's where you're from. It's an instance area, and everything that you do in your personal story gets reflected there. So things like whether you let an NPC live or die, that NPC might be there, might not be there, whether you save a particular building from burning down, all those things sort of change and shape your home district. Okay. So we also wanted to come here and talk a little bit about our art. So in Guild Wars 1, and it's the same for Guild Wars 2, we want to concentrate on making our game a beautiful game, not by giving it sort of high system requirements and relying on technology. We instead want to rely on kind of the skill and vision of our artists in order to make our game stand out visually. And so what we do is we give our artists a lot of leeway to kind of imagine whatever they want to imagine, and then we incorporate those things into the world. So you'll see here, for example, we've got this clockwork garden with, it's spinning constellations and things like that. And we realize that one of the reasons people play MMOs is so that they can see things that they couldn't normally see in real life. And so we combine that, desire with our artist's vision to create a lot of really stunning places in the world that you can go check out. So let's continue on with our story. So we'll continue on with our story, and we'll demonstrate a little bit of our waypoint system, which is our fast travel system. So in Guild Wars 1, we had a system called map travel, which was very convenient sort of travel around the world. We've brought that system forward into Guild Wars 2, and you'll see all of these waypoints located around the world. This was the area we were at earlier. Here's the water supply that was poisoned. And you'll notice we can travel back to any of these places. All we need to do is click and we'll get teleported there. So what we want to do is make it really convenient for players to travel around the world. We have these unlocked for purposes of the demo, but normally what you would do is you explore out and you discover new waypoints, and then thereafter you can open up your map, click on it, and teleport back there. And this is because we really want players to be able to get into sort of the good parts of the game, the parts that they really want to play, be able to play with their friends, not have them have to run 10 minutes to get to their friends. We'll head into our home instance now. So we've talked about it a little bit before. This is one of the places where the choices that you made during character creation will really start to show. So had we chosen to be a noble, we'd find that our friend Lord Farron, who's a little bit of a fop and kind of a character, has thrown us this big grand party, and we'd come into this area and there would be decorations and signs and all kinds of nobles celebrating and having a party, and we get to participate in that. Had we chosen to say that we were from the streets, we'd find that our shady friend Quinn is in trouble with a gang that we both used to belong to, and needs a little bit of help. In this particular case, since we're commoners and our friends Andrew and Petra run the local tavern, we find that we come to the tavern and there's some shady characters hanging out here.
You almost spilled my drink, and I almost had to mop it up with your face.
So here's Petra and Andrew. Again, green starburst indicates we can continue our story here. We're actually going to end the demo here for humans, and we'll go on into our char experience. So our char experience is going to be a higher level experience. In the high 40s, our level cap is 80. So this is kind of mid-range to slightly higher. We're going to play a warrior, so we'll get to see what a warrior looks like. We'll have a full skill bar, so you get to see all of that. So this is our char. As Randy said before, the char were our antagonists in Guild Wars 1. And they're a very brutal, kind of warlike feline race, although they are the most technologically advanced race in the world. They sort of leverage their warlike behavior to create new technologies. And so you'll notice a lot of the areas in the char central have to do with cannons and things with big gears and smoke and things like that. So our char is actually equipped with a bow here. In a lot of games, a warrior with a bow just uses the bow for pulling. The bow is not really a viable weapon for them. We wanted to make all weapons that our players can use viable options. And so a warrior with a bow is actually a really good area of effect damage dealer. You just killed a poor rabbit there. You'll see that's a pretty good, nice, persistent area of effect skill. And one of the other things I talked about earlier is our versatility in our characters. We want our characters to be very versatile. So you can go ahead and swap weapons. So a warrior in the middle of combat can swap to a different weapon set, and you notice his skills change. Now he's an up-close melee fighter. If he wanted to, he could probably equip a mace and a shield together, which would make him more of a defensive character. He could put a warhorn in his offhand to allow him to buff his allies and become more of a support character. He's also got the second half of his skill bar here, where he's got heal skills, utility skills, and an elite skill, and he can choose to bring what he wants. He can bring a variety of different skills that will allow for different sorts of options. For example, we'll see this later, he's brought a support skill as his elite skill to kind of help heal and buff allies. And this is one of the big themes. We want players to be able to play with whoever they want. We don't want you to have to sit around and wait for a healer in a group. We don't want you to have to play a healer if you don't really want to, simply because in your group of friends nobody else is willing to play a healer, but you need a healer in order to play. We don't want you to have to play with that guy maybe you really don't want to play with, but you put up with him because he's the only warrior you know. We want you to be able to play with who you want. We only want you to be able to play with the professions that you want to play. And so we give our professions an awful lot of versatility as far as the sort of roles that they can take in combat, and then we make it really easy to switch up what role you're taking part in. So Matthew's actually going to talk to some of our guys out in the at home and find out if there's anything going on. Okay. So we'll head down to Dragon Watch. Randy mentioned earlier that there's a big area of the world that was kind of corrupted by the dragons. You can kind of see bits of it. This is kind of the nice part. You can see parts of it are corrupted. This is a small charred town at the edge of that. And here's another type of event. So the events that we saw before were all taking place because of stimulus in the world. This particular event is actually triggered by the player. And so the important thing to note here is, although Matthew's talking to an NPC and triggering the event, in order to participate in the event, you don't have to talk to an NPC. So now any player who comes along can participate in this event. This is kind of a fighting pit challenge event, and players who are participating actually get to vote on what they want to see in each round of this event. So it's one of the ways that we like to support kind of multiplayer content.
Challenge has started.
So a few things to note about some of our skills. We like to be very clear about when you have area effect skills and things like that, what area they affect. So you'll see things like you know, when you target this on the ground, you'll see a little ring here, so you can see clearly where it's going to hit. That. Another thing to note, for a warrior, Matthew's got this adrenaline bar that's building up. Warriors kind of have a super skill there, which he can activate when his adrenaline bar fills up. The more adrenaline he's built up, the stronger that skill will be. And another thing to note is that it changes when he changes weapons. So you can do things like build up your adrenaline with one weapon, swap to the other weapon, use your super skill, swap back to the previous weapon, that sort of thing. So you saw there when Matthew actually whirled through that fire area, he